I wanted to start a new series on the channel, so I'll be choosing my personal favorite film from each year of a particular decade. These picks are subjective, mostly biased, and sometimes nostalgic, but that's the entire point. They're not the best movies, they're the ones that I want to talk about, the ones that I want to highlight. So, in this first video, I thought I would start with the 2010s. So, let's hop into it. So, starting with 2010, I chose Insidious. Horror was stagnant, overrun with slashers and cheap found footage. Insidious changed that. It revitalized the genre overnight. It reminded people that you could scare the hell out of an audience with atmosphere, sound, and suggestion rather than needing to rely on a butcher knife wielding mascot. I'll be doing a few honorable mentions for each year. So in 2010, I really enjoyed Salt, The Fighter, and I'm throwing this one in there for my sister, Frozen, not the Disney movie, the one where the three people are stuck in the ski lift. 2011, I have Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I already loved Planet of the Apes, the series, but this reboot felt completely different. Underneath all the spectacle, it's really a story about connection, love, and betrayal. It has more genuine emotion than most big-budget films even attempt. Honorable mentions for 2011, I have We Need to Talk About Kevin. The Artist, not necessarily because I really liked that movie, but because it was one of the first movies I ever watched with my wife. And Hugo. 2012, Sinister, another Blumhouse project. Another revitalization. Sinister feels like a throwback to Polanski's Apartment trilogy. Horror that doesn't just startle you, but makes your skin crawl. You feel contaminated watching it. Honorable mentions for 2012, Django Unchained, The Master, and Chronicle. And in 2013, I have Prisoners. It was such a fresh, unique twist on a thriller. What's scary isn't just the brutality, it's how much you want to see it. You want the kidnapper to suffer. You're kind of enjoying it. It's a film that makes you complicit in its darkness. 2013's honorable mentions, The Wolf of Wall Street, Snowpiercer, which is a Willy Wonka sequel, and Rush. Nightcrawler takes the slot in 2014. Gyllenhaal was on a roll, End of Watch, Prisoners, mostly playing characters you could admire. Then came this, a sleazy voyeur, a parasite. He feels like a Brian De Palma character dropped into 2014. The movie itself is enticing, it's hypnotic, and I'd like to highlight the Grand Budapest Hotel, Tusk, Creep, and The Babadook. 2015 is The Witch. This film has influenced my own taste more than almost anything. It has that offbeat pacing you get in a Bergman or Tarkovsky, or the original Wicker Man, a slow burn descent into paranoia. And the first film I want to highlight here in these honorable mentions is Hell House LLC. I cannot stress enough that I feel like anyone who likes horror should see this movie. It's highly underrated. And then, secondly, I have The Visit. In 2016, I have Shin Godzilla. I've been a Godzilla fan my whole life, and I'd love to be a purist and say one of the classics is still my favorite, but that just wouldn't be true. Shin Godzilla is the greatest Godzilla film ever made. Beautiful, destructive, and genuinely smart after so many Hollywood failures. Maybe it's taken over by -1 now, but I still put Shin Godzilla ahead of that for myself. 2016 had a lot of really good movies, so I'd like to mention Moonlight, Captain Fantastic, Moana, and Silence. Lady Bird is the movie I chose for 2017. This is one of the harder choices, maybe one of the odder choices, but this movie is personal. The character reminded me so much of my wife when we first met, the quirks, the odd habits that were partly real and partly a way to stand out. And it helps that her and Saoirse Ronan share an uncanny resemblance. And deeper than that, I can relate to my own life. As an oddball in high school myself, I related to that feeling of thinking you're missing out and realizing later that being cool isn't all it's cracked up to be. I was very close to picking The Shape of Water. Lady Bird took it over just because I've talked about The Shape of Water on this channel before already. And then I also have in my honorable mentions The Florida Project, Coco, and Logan. 2018 is mid-90s, Jonah Hill's directorial debut. Same thing as Lady Bird. I loved this movie. Born in 92, I was a younger kid during the mid to late 90s. And this film triggers a flood of memories. The vibe is so authentic it almost hurts. And honorable mentions for 2018, I have Hereditary and Into the Spider-Verse. 2019 was an insane year for cinema, and there were so many films I loved. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do the honorable mentions for 2019 first. I almost chose Marriage Story here, because I know it's not the best film of 2019, but it is probably the one that was my favorite at the time. Then I have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Joker, Midsommar, The Lighthouse, Knives Out, The Irishman, and Endgame. But my actual choice is Parasite, because you can't deny the impact Parasite had, or how masterfully it's constructed, layers upon layers, and every one of them pays off. It's a movie I can rewatch over and over again. So yeah, that's my Decade of the 2010s list. Remember, it's not a ranking, it's not what's the best, just the movies I liked the most. If you have any hidden gems from the 2010s, highlight them in the comments and I'll be sure to check them out. Thanks.